Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. I'm Anand Narasimhan and you're on the right stand. Prime Minister Narendra Modi turned 75 on Wednesday. We take a look at the big milestones over the last 11 years of his tenure too. But first, we begin with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to ending the menace of drugs, the biggest challenge that is posed with respect to our current generation and Bharat's demographic dividend that perhaps will be the force that will drive to Bharat towards a Viksit Bharat in 2047. Have a look at this. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has inaugurated the second national conference of Anti-Narcotics Task Force heads of states and union territories in the national capital. The conference serves as a strategic platform to reinforce Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to a drug-free Bharat and to formulate a roadmap to achieve this goal. In the last 10 years, over 10 million kilograms of drugs have been seized, whereas during the 2005-2014 period, this number was just 2.6 million kilograms. Listen in.
मित्रों, आज 11 जगहों पर देश भर में लगभग 1,37,917 किलो मादक पदार्थ जिसका मूल्य लगभग 4800 करोड़ रुपया है, उसको नष्ट करने का कार्यक्रम करा है कि प्रति 3 माह आपके राज्य में सीज की गई ड्रग इसको नष्ट करने की परंपरा साइंटिफिक तरीके से बना लेनी।
Meanwhile, in one of the largest international drug busts to date, Interpol's Operation Lionfish Mayak 3 has led to the seizure of 76 tons of narcotics worth $6.5 billion in just 2 weeks. According to officials, the coordinated crackdown spanned 18 countries, including Bharat. Authorities confiscated a record 297 million methamphetamine tablets, along with massive quantities of fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, and precursor chemicals used in drug manufacturing. Officials reported that traffickers had attempted to conceal narcotics inside surfboards, tea boxes, cat food packets, and espresso machines to evade detection. A total of 386 arrests were made during the operation. Action was also taken against criminal networks operating on the dark net, with several trafficking rings exposed and dismantled. The most alarming discovery was the sheer scale of fentanyl seized, enough to potentially kill 151 million people. Interpol identified Bharat as the country where the largest share of fentanyl was intercepted. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid similar to morphine and heroin, is fully laboratory produced and contains no natural ingredients. While it is legally approved for use as a painkiller, much of the fentanyl linked to the global overdose crisis is produced illegally. Now, describing the campaign as one of the biggest international anti-drug operations ever, Interpol said the bust highlighted both the scale of synthetic drug trafficking and the urgent need for cross-border enforcement. Meanwhile, closer home, the Mumbai Directorate of Enforcement seized 39.2 kg of hydroponic weed and arrested 3 people on Monday. Now, based on specific intelligence, officers of the DRI intercepted 2 Indian nationals coming from Bangkok at the Mumbai airport, and upon systemic search and examination of their check-in baggage, 39 packets containing greenish substance in lumpy form with a pungent smell were found concealed in the baggage. These substances tested positive for cannabis or hydroponic weed. In May this year, the Narcotics Control Bureau, or the NCB, brought in Naveen Chichkar, the alleged kingpin of a drug trafficking syndicate from Malaysia. Chichkar allegedly ran a cocaine smuggling network in Bharat while running his operations from Malaysia. The NCB took custody of the deported drug kingpin in the 35 lakh cocaine smuggling case. Now, according to government data, 89,913 cases under Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act were registered in 2024, in which 1,16,098 individuals were arrested and 13.3 lakh kilograms of drugs were recovered. While addressing the conference, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said, and I quote, PM Modi presented a concept of building a great Bharat in 2047, a Bharat that will be fully developed. And if we want to build such a Bharat, then it is very important to save our young generation from drugs, because the concept of any great state, its foundation is the young generation of that country. If our future generations become hollow, then the country will go astray. Unfortunately, both areas from where drugs are supplied all over the world are close to us. So this is the time that we fight against it strongly. Well, that fight continues. Meanwhile, Bharat had maintained that Pakistan's Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar has come out and said that Bharat maintained its line that Sindoor and its issue with Pakistan is a bilateral matter, and revealed that the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio told him during the military conflict in May that Bharat will not settle for a third-party mediation for ceasefire since it was a bilateral issue between two countries. Now, in an interview to Al Jazeera, Ishaq Dar said when he asked Marco Rubio about third-party mediation with India during the military conflict, the US official told him that New Delhi has refused the same since it's a bilateral matter. Listen in.
Any negotiation happening with India? Is there a third party involved? Are you open to third party involvement?
Well, we don't mind, but India has categorically been stating it's a bilateral, so we don't mind bilateral. When we met 25th of July, bilateral meeting, myself with Secretary Rubio in Washington, I asked him what happened to those dialogue. Says India says that it is a bilateral issue. We don't. So we are not begging for anything. If any country wants dialogue, we are happy. We are welcome. We are a peace-loving country. We believe that dialogue is the way forward. But obviously, it takes two to tango. So unless India wishes to have dialogue, we can't force dialogue. We don't wish to force dialogue.
So clearly, July itself, Marco Rubio said Bharat is very clear. This is a bilateral issue and there should be no third-party intervention. Ambassador Deepak Vora, former diplomat with us, Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, security analyst, and Dr. Anand Ranganathan with us. Namaste, Jai Hind, gentlemen. So let's ask the diplomat.
Why do I get trapped into all this?
What an introduction. Separated the wheat from the chaff straight away.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be with you on your channel. And you yourself are insanely popular, the way you conduct the show. And of course, we have two outstanding colleagues. I see General Saad and I see our colleague. But let me put it to you like this. Why would he say a thing like this? Sir, you tell us what happened. General Saad would tell us how it has happened. I try and understand why is it. Why does this guy come out now and say that India rejected mediation? Has he fallen out with McDonald Trump? Is United States not delivering what he wanted? Or has that Pinjare Wali Munaria told Ishaq Dar that you better acknowledge this because your time is running out, I'm going to boot you out any day. So you might as well tell the truth for once in your life. I don't know what the reality is, but listening to the statement that Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar has made that we are ready to talk, etc. We are a peace-loving country. Well, he can't refrain from telling lies. Peace indeed. He wants the world to be. His Munaria said that the world would be in pieces if Pakistan got angry. Remember that? We'll take half the world down with us. That kind of nonsense. So he's probably trying to undo that damage, but in the process, he has acknowledged that he's willing to talk bilaterally to Bharat if we are willing. He said, I can't force them to talk. Now that is a plea, it's a cry from the wilderness. Yeah, tiger, baat to kar lo mere se. मेरी इज्जत बचाओ, कुछ तो करो, कुछ दीपक वोरा को भेज दो, किसी जनरल साहब को भेज दो, किसी अंडर सेक्रेटरी को भेज दो, कुछ तो चले आगे. So I think that seems to be the reality at this time. They are desperate for a conversation with us. We are determined not to give it to them.
But this is about, I am speaking the truth, but I will not call you a liar, Ambassador Saab.
You're so right. And also what I would tell him, if you don't tell lies about me, I will not tell the truth about you. That is my answer.
but is this comes out, this revelation, this interview comes on a day when we are going to have the trade representative of the US in Bharat. There is a thaw in terms of, many would say thaw, but there is a clear understanding that, okay, we've got to work on a deal. Trump, cools down a bit. PM immediately responds. Whenever the tone is right, the Prime Minister responds. Now, amidst all of this, he comes out and says, oh, the Indians never wanted any mediation. And this is directly trying to say, okay, now let's provoke a reaction from Bharat about this. See, now the Pakistanis are corroborating our statement. Look, Donald Trump, watch this. So is this another way to try and trap Bharat? That's what I'm asking you, Ambassador.
Oh, he will try. Well, we will not respond to this. This is some fellow sitting in some country which is our neighbor saying these funny things. Nobody trusts him, nobody believes him. So we are simply, if at all there will be a statement from MEA, we have taken note of what the fellow has said. Happy birthday, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, since I said happy birthday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, happy birthday to you.
So we'll talk about that. In just about 10-15 minutes, we'll get to that and we'll have those conversations too. आज हमने आपको पकड़ लिया, आप मिल गए तो फिर आपको छोड़ेंगे थोड़ी. तो
I knew this was coming. मैं जा रहा हूँ. Help police, get me out of this.
Okay. But Dr. Ranganathan, your thoughts? General Pandey is on the move. So we'll try and see if the line is through with him. Okay. General Saab, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So your thoughts on Ishaq Dar? What would you like to say?
Yeah, okay. Let's. There are a couple of things. First is the political issue, right? What happened in Operation Sindoor, because of which I think the Prime Minister was time and again asked that was it under the American compulsion that we possibly went for a ceasefire or the pause button. So this very clearly articulates today that India in nowhere, and I think he has said as much number of times, and our MEA has said that there was just no talks. I think Jaishankar ji had said talked of the sequence of events, how it panned out, how the discussion took place, how somebody from the Gulf country had reached out, and how all these things panned out. And I think it's very clear in the political realm also, and for the country as well, that what the Prime Minister and the political leadership has been saying is the truth, that there was no intervention from third party, and the stand of India of being bilateral on any conflict or issues of discussion remains as is where is. Right? I think that's a very good thing which has happened, at least for the political dispensation. Now, second is the timing. Please understand, whatever happens in this world today is time. And this interview comes at a very critical time when the trade talks and the thaw between Trump and India, I'll not say Trump and Modi, is happening. So when this comes out at this time, it is indicative, and it is actually eating the humble pie as well, eating your own words, that what Trump has time and again gone into and told the world that give me the Nobel Prize because I was the one who intervened, actually. So this actually opens up the lie so very clearly that we need to give it to the Americans for having allowed for such a conversation go through in larger strategic interest. And if you have noticed in last couple of
I think we just lost his video. But interestingly, that he's turning and saying, okay, perhaps the Americans just told them go ahead and say this ahead of the talk so that there is a certain thaw in terms of position. But Dr. Ranganathan, I just want to jog your memory also that Donald Trump, when he was traveling to the Middle East, he had at a conference turned around and said that the Pakistanis asked us for help, and I told the Pakistanis, you're not getting anything till you call off this war. There's no trade with you. At that time, he didn't talk about Bharat. And that was the first time, and that was after 2 months of this entire rhetoric, that Trump said the statement where he said, we tried to talk to both sides. Modi is a great friend, where it's not easy to negotiate, all of that, he said that. And then he said, with the Pakistanis, we talk trade. And I told them that you're not getting anything till the time you call off this fight. So he didn't say that I told the Indians the same. At that time, he very specifically said, this is what the Pakistan. Now the Pakistanis are accepting that, the Americans were talking to us, they told us to back off, and we backed off. Jhanda to unhone uthaya tha, haath to unhone khade kiye the. Now that's also now confirmed. Dr. Ranganathan.
No, absolutely. Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Can I just say it looks like General Pandey is inside a fighter jet. I hope it's not above Pakistan or a space capsule. Right? It's a great sight to behold.
No, but I didn't know paras fly, that from a para commando and a GOC-15 corps, he's become an air warrior. That's true integration of our forces, of all theatre commands. But yes, Ji.
Yeah, just when you thought Pakistan would not be worried anymore, I think here we have. Look, 3 points here. Number one, first of all, arguably what the Pak Minister has said is, you can say at one level, detached from the Operation Sindoor and the machinations of there. He's talked about no third-party mediation or bilateral talks in general. So he's not mentioned Operation Sindoor or the ceasefire. So you can say the detractors like Rahul Gandhi can still say that US intervened. But logic tells you that if the Pakistani establishment themselves have admitted that India has never gone for third-party mediation, then why, of all places, in the middle of a war, would it go for a third-party mediation? So common sense tells you that you extrapolate what the Prime Minister, what this gentleman is saying, Pak Minister, to the ending of Operation Sindoor, that it was nothing to do with America or Trump or the threat of not trading with the Western countries, so ceasefire and all that. So that's a fact. Now, going forward, I think what this does is two things, and very briefly. Number one, it is, like it or not, a big slap on the face of Pakistan. This is perhaps the first time they've recognized that come any Western power, either EU or in fact the new power China, their friend, or America, they themselves have admitted, and you can see from his tone, it's quite grudging. It's like, someone who constantly plays a victim card in the school playground has finally admitted ki haan yaar main maan gaya chalo. It's like a defeatist tone. And normally defeatist tones are always true. So he's admitted that India is never going to allow a third party to come in and mediate between India and Pakistan on the issues that we firmly believe our stand hasn't changed for 75 years. I mean, POK is ours. It's just a matter of time before we take it. It's another matter that many, in fact, on this panel would probably feel that we should have gone ahead and, taken it this time round. But that time will come. The second issue is concerning the West. And the West better realize that not only are we not going to allow a third party to mediate between our issues, we are going to do two more things. We've already done them. Number one, we are not going to allow the hyphenation of India with Pakistan anymore. You want to come to India, you come to India. Don't visit Pakistan alongside, as what used to happen for 50, 60 years.
So the dehyphenation is very clearly happening, yeah.
Correct. And the third thing is, we will act according to our interests. If we believe that we need to bomb the mainland Pakistan, Punjab, we will do so on our choice of day and time and the place. These two things are absolutely crystal clear from the grudging, ironically, from the grudging acceptance of not of a Western leader or Trump, from ironically the grudging acceptance of Pakistani leaders.
No, not just the Pakistan leaders. The thing is, कि हम फोड़ेंगे लेकिन कह के फोड़ेंगे. In this case, what we did is we called them, we told them that we are coming, we are bombing only these structures and we'll do it. And they gave them time to mobilize. They couldn't do anything. We still bombed them. So they know that कि अब ये कह के बजाएंगे तो भी बजेंगे ही हम. We have no other option. That's one part. But the other thing, interesting jacket, Ambassador Deepak Pura, General Pandey was wearing something similar that has hints and touches of the Northeast along with the tricolor and your name. I also see that this has got a hint of the Northeast there. So similar jackets. He was wearing, General Pandey was wearing something from Nagaland. You're wearing something from the Northeast. Good to see more of the.
From Meghalaya.
This one's from Meghalaya. So it just stands out.
General Pandey borrowed my idea. Tell him to pay me royalty.
You see, so, with a lot of respect, it said that great minds think alike. But it was also said that fools seldom differ. So I fall in the latter, so you fall in the former.
Why aren't you wearing a jacket?
So
you should be wearing one.
But General Pandey had an interesting observation about Ilyas Kashmiri making an observation. This Masood Ilyas Kashmiri is from the Jaish. He's very upset with the Pakistan army. General Pandey?
Yeah.
Another underlining
So,
of Operation Sindoor कि हमने बहुत बजाया उनको.
So while again it adds on to what Dar says, and they have all accepted that they went to Americans, they went to Saudis, or Saudis called up, and then eventually they went to Americans for getting a ceasefire done, and they had killed and kneeled all over the place at least on the 10th. The fact remains that when a terrorist has not come out and told that how these people have been sorted out is also an affirmation. While we'll not like to believe, but yes, he's now speaking on a public platform. But what is amazing me is that today the Pakistani army is actually eating the humble pie when the terrorists are coming out and telling that we have been working for you guys for such a long time, but when our time came, where were you? Right? It is so clear that they have now become proxy. The Pakistan army is a proxy for Americans for a long time. Then for last a decade or so, it became a proxy for the Chinese. And now it has gone back to being actually a total proxy for the terrorist. So how this so-called professional army is going to go down into the depth of ignominy? The last thing I just want to wind up by saying is that the way they are operating Balochistan, blasting off using gunships, aircrafts, artillery, tanks to actually destroy buildings, houses, kill the Balochis. Does it also imply that the Pakistan army has now become master of actually killing innocents who are unarmed and disarmed? So while you did in Pahalgam onto the east of Pakistan, you are doing the same thing in the west. And I'm quite shocked and amazed that no human rights organizations are actually talking about this, what is happening.
Yeah, I think largely because a lot of it has been blanked out. It's blanked out and it is falling on the blind spot of a lot of the world. And it's a very, very inconvenient truth. Dr. Ranganathan, coming to you, but Ambassador Vora, what this Jayesh Kadar has come out and said, that we have conducted activity in Bharat, and he's called out the Pakistani army for not supporting and helping the Jaish and the destruction of their markaz in Bahawalpur. Is that not the biggest open admission that the Pak army is complicit in proxy war? And it's coming from a proscribed terrorist himself. Ji.
There's no question, sir. It appears to me that the commander-in-chief of the Pakistani army, this fellow called Manus Nazar, what is his name? Manus Nazar Masood something. Some Manus fellow. So Nazar Masood or something like that. He has acknowledged that the army doesn't listen to me. I'm the commander-in-chief. You guys should be saluting me when I come. You send all your generals. When one of my fellows is killed, you drape it in the national flag. You reverse arms, whatever. So he's upset because they are not willing to give him the support. The Americans are hitting them like a ton of bricks. Second, sir, you remember that Donald Trump had negotiated with Pinjrewali Munaria that we'll go to Balochistan. You kick out the Canadians and the Chinese, and then we will take over and we'll look for all the oil and the gold and the copper and the rare earths, which of course don't exist. The Baloch have said, Tiger, come here and then we trash you. So I think there's total turmoil, there's total misunderstanding, total lack of cohesion at the moment in Pakistan, reflecting confusion at the highest level. On the one hand, the Prime Minister says something, the Deputy Prime Minister says something else, the Defence Minister, all these guys are irrelevant. The only person who matters is that Pinjrewali Munaria. And he has been quiet. He hasn't responded for some time. He hasn't commented on what this Manus fellow has said, nor has he commented so far at least on what Ishaq Dar has said. It'll be interesting to see what he comes out with because he's the boss. There's no question. You are the boss on your show. He's the boss on Pakistan's show. There's no question about it. So that's what I'm looking at.
Ambassador Saab, just a request, वो पाकिस्तानी ऐसा है, वो दुश्मन से सीखते भी हैं. So a certain Mohammad Yusuf is learning from you how to mispronounce words, and he's ended up abusing the captain of the Indian T20 team at Asia Cup. Dr. Ranganathan.
Who's abused him? Who's abused him?
Sir, a former Yusuf Yohana Christian turned Muslim so that he could become captain of Pakistan.
Oh, this is that Muhammad Useless. No, whatever. What did you say his name is? Or whatever it is, go right. I'm not going to learn. So let me be. I'm an old man. I'm 74. My memory is fading. How do I remember their names?
Dr. Ranganathan. Yes.
Ambassador just thought he'll slip it in that he not only looks, he's actually 1 year younger than Narendra Modi as well. Well done. You know what you did there. But Anand, one small aspect that I think is gone relatively unnoticed. is that how easily, and I'm saying that being pleased about it, how easily the West has and the powers that we have accepted that we have and we will continue to keep the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. I think that I would say in the overall arching significance of Operation Sindoor would be our greatest achievement. Remember, there were hues and cries. In fact, as the good ambassador talked about his nom de plume of Munir, he said, well, let them build a dam and we will blow it up with, I don't know, whatever he said, with 10 missiles and all that stuff. So they know in their heart of hearts, today's grudging acceptance is just one acceptance of India going ahead, and irrespective of what the Pakistanis or what the world believes our actions are going to be, we are going to take those actions. I just hope we don't step back from the Indus Water Treaty. I just hope and pray.
We won't.
We won't. General Pandey?
You know what happens is when such a loud and clear acceptance comes from the terrorist leader itself that they have been operating in concert or on orders or on the behalf of a nation or a country or Pakistan army, I think the world should have possibly taken notice of it, right? While Musharraf has said, so many other leaders have come out and said, it is proven, but on a public platform, well publicized, when something of this nature happens, it also shows importance of the international organizations which can speak about something to other countries, but surely not on Pakistan or the countries which are actually controlled or supported by the Americans. So this duplicity also, I think, by our diplomatic community, and I'm sure Ambassador Vora's juniors should take this on and take it out and inform after all the world that you are being duplicitous. You're not maintaining a standard this thing, because these are happening too often, and this also lends credence for which so many other political parties in India have been asking, and our left people have been asking that did Operation Sindoor was a consequence of Lashkar-e-Tawba carrying a strike at Pahalgam? Who was behind it? So a number of times people within our country question of these strikes which happen inside has been actually claimed by a terrorist on a public platform. I think we need to also draw some advantage from it.
Here's the problem, sir. Everybody knows a doormat is dirty. So if you go and tell the world that a doormat is dirty, everybody knows it's dirty. The problem is it's supposed to keep your feet clean. We got to go and tell the world that the doormat is now dirtying your feet. So it's no longer keeping your feet clean. That's when they'll replace the doormat or perhaps split it into 4 parts. That's the analogy that I could make in my limited understanding. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, quickly before we move on to the next aspect. Ji.
Just to add to what General Pandey was saying, I don't think the West needs to learn anything from the kind of diabolical nature of the Pakistanis. If you remember, 24 hours after we bombed their terror hub, there were highest ranked Pakistani generals who were attending the funeral of the terrorists who were killed. Now, those photographs were not taken by Indian media. They were taken by media that is traditionally helpful to the Islamic world, Al Jazeera and Sky and all those things. So the fact of the matter is the West knows it. The different thing that has happened now is that we don't care whether it knows or not. I mean, the fact is that had the Americans not buried Osama at sea, Pakistanis would have built a mausoleum for Osama and would have gone there and worshipped him every year.
Yeah, they threw him at sea, we would have burnt him. But that's a different story altogether. That's what the Forge has always said, that we need to burn these terrorists. So that's what the best lesson can be. Let's quickly move on and let's keep Operation Sindoor. The nation's leader, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, turns 75. सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, मैं देश नहीं झुकने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा. That's what Prime Minister's motto was. And with Operation Sindoor, post Balakot and with Operation Sindoor, has Prime Minister Narendra Modi lived up to that promise? Let's weigh in and get in your thoughts as PM turns 75. with Operation Sindoor itself, because there were multiple aspects at display. Dr. Ranganathan spoke about resolve. It's about pushing on. General Pandey talked about the fact that we are going to give it back to them. But more importantly, you cannot go and hit someone, punch someone and attack at will till the time we have the capabilities. Our indigenous tech, our own ability to fend for ourselves and build our own tech, our own weapon systems. BrahMos was built in Bharat, and BrahMos is the one that they had no answers for. All of this, does that underline that commitment, that Saugandh, Ambassador Deepak Ora? Since you're closest to PM Modi in age.
No question about it.
I should have actually stopped at closest to PM Modi, but in age.
Well, look, today, may I just add that Narendra Modi is not just the Prime Minister of Bharat. He's a world statesman. He means what he says what he means. And I'll tell you about this. Today, General Pandey would probably bear me out. 2 out of 3 weapons used by the Indian forces today are made in India. Over 100 countries buy our weapons. We have, in terms of weaponry, we have the best in the world. Agni 5 even frightened that joker sitting in the White House that this is a speed of 30,000 kilometers per hour, etc., etc. Yes, he has delivered. But one thing that I'd like to point out, sir, you remember in where was it, in Gujarat, where he said, "Hamara after Balakot, Hamara Siddhant hai, hum ghar mein ghus ke marenge." I was very confused. That since when was this our Siddhant, Dr. Ranganathan? I thought my Siddhant was you slap me here, I give you the other cheek. And it was only at the Mahakumbh Mela, Anand sir, on the 25th of February, that a Mahapurush told me, he said, Rajdoot, aapko Ramayan ki kahani yaad hai, Hanuman ji ne kya kiya tha? तो मैंने कहा वापस आने से पहले उसके महल को आग लगा दी थी, इसे हजारों साल पहले हमने घर में घुस के मारा था. So I'd advise my neighbors, listen very carefully to what the Prime Minister of India says. I wish him many, many long years of service, not just to India, but to the world. Prime Minister, if you're watching or somebody tells you, जो मेरी जिंदगी बची है, वो आपको लगा. The world needs you more than they need, I'm just an ordinary son of Bharat. But you have to take us forward.
We'll also have to ask you the diplomatic question as a diplomat in a bit. But General Pandey, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, okay. So, Anand, I did not realize that possibly, in fact, I was not aware also this entire, such an important day today. But let me just very jog down the memory lane. A few years back from Chinarkor site, a young officer tweeted wishing Prime Minister a very happy birthday. It was from the official vesting. I was out, I was not even aware. And by the time I landed back, while the tweet was deleted, it went viral because thanks to one somebody. And even now people keep on writing articles about how politicized the Indian army or Indian armed forces have become. And but today, now having retired, I can very unabashedly say, wish the Prime Minister a very, very happy birthday, because he has actually done a human service to the country. The most important part, I think, is about Atmanirbharta, because we were on a very steady path of acquisition from the foreign sources. And when a structure, a bureaucratic, military, the Indian system was established that buy foreign, why not buy foreign? Because it makes life simple. And of course, our industry was also not ready to provide what we are looking for. This, to stop that process, requires a lot of courage, a lot of thought, and a lot of willpower actually. And maybe in first direction, first 1 or 2 years, he laid down the path for Atmanirbhar. And then thereafter, he slowly started shifting this whole process that you are going to buy what is Indian, make in India, make for India. And then slowly in this last about 4 to 5 years, we have started shifting to make it for the world, right? So this entire shift, trust me, it takes decades for institutions to get established. In our case, where I'm coming from military, because I'm going to be fighting that, I need to fight the war today. I must get my weaponry today from wherever you want to get it. And wherever you want to get it is from abroad. It is not from India. right? And we are being leveraged, held hostage. We are buying things which are expensive from the world, and then in turn we are not allowing our own economy, our own job market and industry to prosper. All this has happened. So this shift, only not for defense industry, has ensured that we are slowly becoming Atmanirbhar. Yes, a lot of people will ask question that what about the niche technology? We can't make our own jet engines. We need to ask the question from the people who have framed policies, the bureaucracy, the political establishment, and of course us military leaders. Why did we not look at it about 30 to 40 years back?
Correct.
So that we could have been actually empowered today to do what we want? So I'm quite sure the path which we are on, in spite of denial regimes, the denial regimes in terms of tariffs, trade, the niche technology, and the important raw material which is required in terms of rare earth material and all, is going to be there, and we need to negotiate this murky water to keep on getting ahead. And this direction with this gentleman, whose birthday possibly we are celebrating and we are talking about it, it may seem political coming out, and surely I'm not looking for any benefits from this gentleman, but yet he should be there, and may God bless him long life, so that he can keep on driving a policy on the right lines for Bharat, and vision which he has empowered us for Viksit Bharat of 2047 can only be achieved. It may shift a little bit beyond, but the fact is that we'll be able to achieve only when we go on the path of what he's been directing us on. And may God be with him.
We'll come back to you in a bit. Dr. Ranganathan, as a professor, as a commentator, as someone who gets trolled, and as someone who calls a spade, who's written a book, he says that the Hindus are 8th citizen in a Hindutva, so-called Hindutva-driven leadership in Hindustan. Your thoughts?
Best wishes to Prime Minister Modi on his 75th birthday. But as the famous Anand dialogue goes, and both of us are Anands, Zindagi lambi nahi, badi honi chahiye.
Badi honi chahiye.
Otherwise, it's not about serving long, which he has for 11 years. It's what you've achieved during that time. And I think, Anand, that is where facts, not rhetoric or propaganda, must come in. So let me just recount this, because it's a momentous occasion. Since 2014, our GDP per capita PPP inflation adjusted has doubled to 10,000 USDs under Modi. In 2014, inflation was 10%. Today it is 2%. In 2014, multidimensional poverty as a percentage of population was 29%. Today it's 11%. We have pulled 250 million Indians out of abject poverty in the last 10 years. In 2014, our forex was $300 billion. Today it is $700 billion. In 2014, there were 74 airports. Today there are 149. The number of cities with metros was 5. Then today it's 20. 21,000 kilometers of rail network was electrified. Then today it is 62,000 kilometers. In 2014, we had 676 universities. Today we have 1,200. In 2014, there were 350 startups. Today there are 138,000 startups. In 2014, our electronics exports was $7 billion. Today it's $23 billion. In 2014, our renewable capacity was 35 gigawatts. Today it's 181 gigawatts. In 2014, Sensex was 25,000. Today it's upwards of 81,000. In the last 11 years, we have built half the total length of the highways we had built in last 60 years previous to the last 10 years. And last year saw independent India's highest ever GST collection, $270 billion, highest ever vehicle sales, 25 million, highest ever income tax payers, 104 million, highest ever manufacturing PMI, 59.2, highest ever exports, 825 billion, highest ever jobs created, 46 million, highest ever forex reserve, 704 billion, highest ever Sensex, 85,900. If any other leader other than Modi has achieved this much in 11 years, by all means, he or she deserves to be the next Prime Minister. Let me just, if I have a minute, list out 11 of his greatest achievements. Number 1, Operation Sindoor. Because of 4 reasons. His new doctrine, as far as Pakistan is concerned, an act of terror would be seen as an act of war. Orchestrating an awe-inspiring offensive and defensive military operation, calling out once and for all Pakistan's nuclear bluff, and holding the Indus Water Treaty 1960 in abeyance. Number 2, vaccinating 1 billion Indians twice over within a year, because that saved millions of lives and restored faith in India's ability to mass mobilize sources for saving the nation's health. Number 3, 100 million LPG Ujjwala connections, because that directly saves 150,000 lives every year, as household pollution is the single largest cause of infant mortality. Number 4, 370 abrogation because that integrated Kashmir with India and restored human and civil rights to millions of Dalits, Gurkhas, refugees, women, homosexuals. Number 5, Balakot strike because that called out Pakistan's nuclear bluff. Number 6, 112 million Swachh Bharat toilets because each new toilet saves the household upwards of 50,000 in health costs. Number 7, 370 million Ayushman Bharat health insurance cards because that has slashed out of pocket expenditure. Singh's biggest factor in pushing Indians into poverty by 27%. Number 8, 50,000 kilometers of highways because that has directly translated to economic prosperity. Number 9, CAA because that has corrected a long overdue historic injustice towards non-Muslims or subcontinent. Number 10, 110 million tap water connections because that has slashed under 5 diarrheal deaths by half. And number 11, Air India privatization because that proves God exists. The nation, Anand, under Modi is on a stunning road to prosperity. Wish him the very best on his 75th birthday.
बाबू मोशाय, क्या delivery दी है बाबू मोशाय. Do you have a prompter in front of you? But I'm just going to. Yes.
Can I request Dr. Anand to kindly DM me the entire list? What a great research.
Thank you.
Awesome.
प्रॉब्लम ये सर, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? सही बात है, वो आनंद कहे तो सही, ये आनंद कहे तो गलत हो जाता है. But
यहाँ तो आनंद ही आनंद है.
Anyway, but I've got to wind up on that note. Thank you very, very much to our lovely guests. We will have a longer conversation hopefully very soon. But as we head out, as I thank you all, we have somebody very, very special joining us. Joining us now is Shri Amitabh Kant, who requires no introduction, and his contribution to Bharat has been immense. From God's own country to incredible India, there are many stories that he can talk about. But Amitabh ji, namaste. Right now, I'd like to ask you about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. As he turns 75, your thoughts on his leadership?
Well, first of all, I'd say that he's extremely visionary. He thinks ahead of his time, at least 2 to 3 decades ahead, which rarely do political leaders do that. To think that a country should move from a 4 trillion to a 35 plus trillion dollar economy and set the vision for the whole country and mobilize the vision, people of the country towards that vision is phenomenal. Secondly, to my mind, I personally think that he's a very, very big risk taker. These structural reforms which have been done, starting with GST, IBC, RERA, lowering of your corporate tax, ease of doing business. These are very, very complex in a large country like India. Pushing for digitization, ensuring that 550 million bank accounts are opened between 2015 and 2017, taking the number of bank accounts for women from 18% to 90%. These are hugely risk-taking initiatives, but he pushed them to the ground and ensured that everybody works as a team. Thirdly, I think one of his greatest achievements is that he breaks silos. And he breaks silos across, and there is therefore a multidisciplinary teamwork in the government. Fourthly, I would say that he builds a team. He builds a very effective team, and he's then able to extract work out of them. He sets the vision. I saw this during G20. He was very clear about the vision. He left it to me. He never asked me what is. He gave me the direction initially, set the vision, left it after that for me, and only during the final round, and it was a very, very complex and difficult G20. But he had the confidence in me, and therefore, that's what a great leader is: confidence in his team. And lastly, I would say that the Prime Minister brings in great level of optimism. His spirit of never give up, his spirit of belief in India, his spirit of great optimism that we will deliver despite all challenges, leaves everybody hugely motivated, charged, and I think that's what delivers the results on ground.
One memory of your interaction with him that comes to mind?
Well, I'm one of those officers who's made the largest number of presentations. As CEO Niti Aayog, I must have made about 200 presentations to him. But I think one of my greatest memories is when we were making the presentation on the backward districts of India. And first of all, he said, don't call them backward. Call them aspirational districts. And that's how this Akankshi Jilla concept came in. And he said that the problem in India is not about money or about resources. It's about good governance. And, the Prime Minister is focused on good governance. And that, to my mind, is really the heart of it all in what he delivers. He says, use data, use real-time data, do effective monitoring, fix outcomes, and then put the results out in public domain. Challenge every collector, challenge every district, challenge every MLA, challenge every MP. And that brought in the spirit of competitive, huge competition amongst districts. Collectors were named and shamed, and they then got motivated, they got charged, and because they were working against outcomes, they delivered. And what a way they delivered. They radically transformed the district simply because of the spirit of competition. And that was entirely PM's idea. That was his vision, that you need to transform the most backward districts of India, but call them the aspirational districts of India. And in a very short while, these districts, which account for almost 20% of your population, started doing better. They started doing much better than the best performing districts of India. That was transformational to my mind. And that really changed the lives of many, many, many Indians and lifted them above the poverty line. And that's how India is lifted under his leadership, over 270 million people above the poverty line. I mean, imagine in a country like India, a large country like India, which is bigger than 24 countries of Europe, you've lifted 27, 28 crore people above the poverty line in a short period.
True. But Amitabhji, like you said, many from demonetization downwards, JAM portal, you've talked about a lot of these reforms, pushing this and getting it implemented at the grassroots level. He also suffered, and perhaps he's the most abused personality, political personality, abused and also criticized and also mocked, etc. Did you ever see him react to this or let it affect? Because we are all human beings, trolling, constant abuse, constant criticism tends to get to us. How would he react to criticism?
I think the greatest learning lesson from this leader, according to me, is how to remain cool, calm, collected. Never react. Be a great listener and never ever react to criticism. You continue doing your work. The greatest quality I learned from him is his ability to absorb, his ability to listen, his ability to learn, and never shy away from the fact that I have not understood this issue. Please explain again. Please explain again. He masters every complex issue. That was the greatest learning experience for me. And to remain against all provocations, to remain absolute. I've never seen this Prime Minister ever. I worked with him for over 12 years. I met him much before that during Vibrant Gujarat summits. I used to go there. I've never ever seen this Prime Minister getting angry at anyone. And that, to my mind, is one of the most remarkable qualities of this leader.
He turned 75. There comes a time in cricketing careers or also sporting careers where there are fans, there are certain people who say it's time for you to retire. Others will egg you on and say carry on, set new goals and then keep batting or keep playing. How would you look at this padav? Because many believe that the Prime Minister should now retire. There are talks like that. And if you believe that he should continue and if he gets elected again, what goals would you like for him to set for himself and for Bharat?
So, Anand, the point is that he's already set a goal for the country, which is more important than setting a goal for himself. He said India must become a fully developed nation. which means that you're moving from a $4 trillion to a $30 trillion economy in a very short span. Which means that your GDP has to grow 9x, your per capita has to grow 10x, your manufacturing has to grow 16x. Very few countries in the world have been able to do this. Japan post-World War II, Korea, China, all other countries got caught in middle income trap. Why did they get caught in the middle income trap? Poor political leadership, populistic leadership. And therefore, you need a leader who will take strong, bold, gutsy, courageous decisions for the sake of the country. This decision to bring in GST and now again reform it at this stage, push for consumption demand, required bold, gutsy leadership. Very few leaders could have delivered this by bringing a consensus across states. It requires huge courage. He's demonstrated that. Or Operation Sindoor leadership. It's the rarest. You need a courageous leader to take India to a $30+ trillion economy. You need a bold leader. You need an aggressive leader. You need a leader with a vision. And therefore, you need sustained leadership.
Well, let's hope and pray for all that is good for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Mr. Amit Kant, and more importantly, for Bharat at large. Thank you very, very much, Amitabh ji. This is a short but a very crisp conversation. Look forward to a much more longer and candid one on the road ahead for Bharat very soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amit.
Thank you, sir. Namaste. Well, as we say goodbye on this edition of The Right Stand and we wish Prime Minister Narendra Modi a very, very happy birthday, here are some lesser known facts, episodes, facets of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. At the age of 22, viewers, PM Modi formally became a pracharak of the RSS. Very, very young. But just 5 years later, he wrote his first book about people's struggle against the emergency. And it was in Gujarati that he had written this at the age of 27. Sangharshma Gujarat. That was at the age of 27 that he wrote. Then, at the age of 37, 10 years later, he delivered the biggest municipal body of Gujarat, the AMC, to the BJP. And this was perhaps a never before. Nobody thought this could happen, but he led it, organized it. And that was perhaps the marking of the rise of the BJP in Gujarat. In 1987, during the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra in 1988, he clicked various photographs of Mount Kailash and also the entire route. So he is a keen photographer. He's won awards also. He's very good at photography. And there is also an exhibition that he held of those pictures that he had taken on his visit to Mansarovar. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been one of the first users and first movers into technology and adopting technology. He was one of the first users of the electronic diary, the tablet, the mobile phone, palm top, laptop, email and social platforms. So someone who's embraced technology and 70 plus as a septuagenarian is engaging with gamers and creators. So that's the vision that he has, and he's somebody who's ready to adapt, adopt and of course learn for the betterment of Bharat. We wish him a very, very happy birthday again. Namaste.
Co-presented by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Moving on, the big story we're tracking from the national capital, the Delhi BMW crash that killed Finance Ministry officer Navjot Singh, getting murkier by the hour. Accused driver Gaganpreet Kaur has been arrested and has been sent to 2-day judicial custody. Blood sample report of the accused has now been reported to be negative for alcohol. Remember, the accused has filed a bail application and the hearing is set for September 17th. Meanwhile, Delhi police senior officials have said that the statement of Gaganpreet's husband is yet to be recorded and teams will further corroborate statements with evidence gathered, CCTV footages and statements of the witnesses as well. Police sources tell CNN News 18, confirming the key link that Gaganpreet's father, Javinder Singh, is a former director of the New Life Hospital which basically is now fueling suspicions that the fact that the accused took the injured to a faraway hospital, the New Life Hospital, was indeed deliberate.
जो पूरा हादसा है, मैं इसकी पूरी बारीकी जानना चाहता हूँ, किस तरह से हादसा हुआ, किस तरह से इस मामले की तफ्तीश हुई और आखिरकार आरोपी को गिरफ्तार किया गया।
ये जो इंसिडेंट है ये कल का है, अराउंड 1:30 के आसपास, 1:30 बजे के आसपास का इंसिडेंट था। बट जो कॉल आती है हमारे पास वो थोड़ा लेट आती है, 2:20 के आसपास। हमारी इमीडिएटली टीम पहुंचती है ग्राउंड पे, उनको पता चलता है कि ट्रैफिक जाम की कॉल थी, बट यहाँ पे तो एक एक्सीडेंट हुआ है। एक्सीडेंट होने के बाद हम उसकी जो नियर बाय CCTV फुटेज है उनको एनालाइज करते हैं, क्राइम टीम को भेजते हैं, अपनी FSL टीम को भेजते हैं, जो भी एविडेंसेस हैं उसको कलेक्ट करने के लिए, जो साइट है और जो मोटर व्हीकल्स हैं उनका इंस्पेक्शन कराने के लिए। इवनिंग में उनका जहाँ पे GTB हॉस्पिटल था वहाँ से हमारे पास कॉल आती है कि इनको यहाँ पे एडमिट कराया गया है दिल्ली कैंट केस के अंदर। तो हमारे IO साहब वहाँ जाते हैं, वहाँ जाके जो विक्टिम है उनका भी स्टेटमेंट लिया जाता है एक और हॉस्पिटल से जहाँ पे उनको रेफ़र कर दिया गया था, और इमीडिएटली FIR उसके अंदर रजिस्टर करा दी जाती है। जो CCTV फुटेज है हमने उसमें प्रिजर्व करा दिया है। आज मॉर्निंग में जो एक्यूज़ है गगनप्रीत, उनको वहाँ से डिस्चार्ज कर दिया गया था हॉस्पिटल से। उनको हम लेके जो भी अपनी कार्रवाई होती है उसमें हमने मेडिकल करा दिया है, कोर्ट के सामने प्रोड्यूस कर दिया है। उनकी जो स्टेटमेंट लिखनी थी वो भी हमने कर दी है। तो मोस्टली हमारी तरफ से जो तफ्तीश है वो भी जारी है, बट प्रिलिमिनरी इन्वेस्टिगेशन तो इसमें ख़त्म हो गई है। जो हम इन्फॉर्मेशन ले सकते थे वो सारी अभी तक अवेलेबल है। फर्दर आगे अगर जो कुछ नया एविडेंसेस आता है तो उस पर काम करेंगे। और जो एक हॉस्पिटल है जहाँ पे ले जाया गया, जिसके ऊपर एलिगेशंस भी लग रहे थे कि उन्होंने हेल्प नहीं करा, उनकी CCTV फुटेज भी हमने मंगा लिया है। उनका भी जो अगर कुछ ऐसा रोल निकलेगा कि उन्होंने हेल्प नहीं करा या डिले करा तो उनका भी अकॉर्डिंगली हम करेंगे।
जब हम FIR पढ़ते हैं जो 10 घंटे के बाद रजिस्टर होती है, इंसिडेंट है 1:30 बजे का, FIR हो रही है रात को 11:30 बजे, उसका जो भी वर्जन है FIR का वो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के भी अगेंस्ट है, उसके खिलाफ है, कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट कर रहा है, पूरा वर्जन ही कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट कर रहा है। अगर रैश एंड नेग्लिजेंट ड्राइविंग से किसी की डेथ है और कंट्री में वो बेलेबल ऑफेंस है, फिर वो बेलेबल ही है। आप उसको नॉन बेलेबल घुमा फिरा के कोई और सेक्शन ऐड करके करें, वो बड़ा अनफॉर्चुनेट हो जाता है। गाड़ी जो थी है BMW, वही पूरी टर्टल है। गाड़ी के अंदर जितने भी सवार हैं, हस्बैंड वाइफ बच्चे, वो भी गाड़ी के अंदर हैं। एयर बैग्स खुले हुए हैं, उनकी भी चोट लगी है। मुझे लग रहा है कि जो वर्जन FIR का है या IO साहब का है, कोर्ट में 2 दिन का वो हो गया है, JC हो गई है, JC
2 दिन का JC हुआ,
2 दिन की JC हो गई है। हमने बेल एप्लीकेशन फाइल कर दी है, बेल एप्लीकेशन की हियरिंग परसों।
So the key issue in this case is whether there was any intention on the part of the accused to delay taking the injured to the nearby hospital and instead take them to a hospital far away because it was connected to their family, and therefore try and maybe bury the case. So that is the big question. Why take the victim to a hospital which was 19 to 20 kilometers away? Now this is the route from the site of the accident to the New Life Hospital where the injured was taken. The Finance Ministry official and his wife, of course the official has succumbed, the wife has been undergoing treatment. So you can see this is a 21-kilometer stretch, and you can imagine 21 kilometers in Delhi takes a long time. On the day when this accident happened, it was non-peak hours on a Sunday, so they managed to make this journey in 30 to 40 minutes. But even that can be a too long a period when you need immediate trauma care. And look at this route. In between this route, there are multiple big hospitals where the injured could have been taken. So from AIMS to Safdarjung, on the other side of the ring road, there is Army Hospital, RNR, the base hospital, Apex Hospital, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Hospital, Kalra Hospital, Maharaja Agarsen Hospital, CK Birla Hospital. Even Fortis Hospital was closer to the New Life Hospital where the injured was eventually taken. Now this brings us to the question of mens rea, whether there was an intention to take the accused 19-20 kilometers away. During the interrogation, Gaganpreet, the accused, is saying her children had been admitted there during COVID-19 pandemic, which is why it came to her mind. However, the victim's wife and son allege that she deliberately avoided nearby hospitals because her father had been a former director in this hospital, and therefore possibly the intention was to bury the case in some ways or the other. Let me also go across to my colleague Anvit Srivastav, who's tracking the latest in this case. Anvit, how is the police planning to solve this very key question, whether there was intentional dealing of the immediate trauma care?
See, police have recorded Gaganpreet's statement, and they are now planning to record her husband's statement, who has today been discharged from the hospital. And both the statements will be recorded, then they'll be corroborated with each other, also with the statement of witnesses and the evidence that have been gathered so far in this case. The CCTV footage and the forensic evidence that have been taken up by the police, those will be corroborated with the husband's statement. That is why police also want. That is because police also wants to question him on the same lines. And two main things that the police are focusing right now. We spoke to senior police officials who are investigating and supervising the entire investigation, and they told us that two main things that they are focusing on. One is that same question, why the police was not informed immediately by this couple in BMW about the accident at the spot. Also, second question, what they're focusing is on that why the injured family, the victims, were taken to that far off hospital. Police are also trying to verify what is Gaganpreet's father's relationship.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. After losing to India fair and square in the Asia Cup match, Pakistan and its ecosystem of former players, cricket players, is now resorting to downright slander. First, Shahid Afridi repeats ad nauseum the lie that India and the Indian government plays the Hindu-Muslim card. They have a nationalist and very, intolerant attitude is the word that he used. And this religious intolerance is only growing with Modi at the helm of India. And Shahid Afridi goes on to a almost fanboy-like moment of Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition, saying that only Rahul Gandhi stood for better ties with Pakistan. The BJP has hit back saying, how is it that all Pakistan lovers end up loving Rahul Gandhi as well? The Congress has hit back with pictures of BJP Member of Parliament and former Minister Anurag Thakur sitting with Shahid Afridi and asking, who is now a Pak lover? So the question is, this is a very reductive debate. At the end of the day, yes, you can make a substantive point that given the national mood, India should not have played Pakistan in the Asia Cup for whatever reason they did. But more importantly, now that the players have sent out a very clear signal by not shaking hands, by not acknowledging the presence of the other side, by shutting the dressing room door on them, even saying that they will not receive the trophy if they win this tournament from the hands of the Interior Minister of Pakistan, who also happens to be the PCB chief. In this reductive battle, who is loved by Pakistan more? Are we